Hello, welcome back. I'm Dr. Ravinder. You are watching a series of lectures on embedded systems. In today's lecture, we'll be discussing about the Peripheral Interface Controller, PIC, in short as it is known as. Why it is known as a PIC? The PIC or a PIC microcontroller is basically manufactured by the microchip technology. It was a first of its kind that was specifically used for controlling the peripherals and hence got its name from there and called as a peripheral interface controller. The peripheral interface controller that we'll be discussing, the topics will be the PIC general features. Then we'll be discussing a specific example of 16F877 microcontroller, its internal pin diagram, and the architecture. So let's start with discussing some of the basic features of this series of controllers. PIC is basically a RISC type of architecture. When we say RISC architecture means it is a reduced instruction set computer. Reduced instruction set. So that means the total instruction or the set of instruction that is followed by the PIC architecture is very small. That is, it has only 35 instructions. So it is available in 4 different packages, starting from 40-pin DIP package, dual inline package, 44-pin PLCC, 44-pin QFP, and 44-pin QFP. So these are the 4 types of packages that is available. So the PIC series of controller, that is 16C61 and 16F877. So they operate at 20 megahertz clocks. So it operates at a low voltage between 4.2 to 5.5 voltage. Maximum current that each port can sink or source is about 100 milliampere. So wide operating range for different series of controllers from 2.5 to 6 volt. It has a low power, high speed EEPROM technology. So we'll see the features as we come across a particular type of controller. The controller that we will be discussing in this video lecture will be 16F877. So when we say that there are different types of the controllers of different series, as we are talking of something as you can see here, the PIC16. So there are number of series of this type. So all these series are divided into different families. And what the PIC families are, broadly speaking, there are 4 families of the PIC microcontroller. These 4 families of the microcontroller are family first, second family, the third, and the fourth. And these families are basically depending upon the series of the controllers. The initial series of the first generation or the first family of the controller, the PIC series was the PIC10 or the PIC10, that is PIC10F series. It is also called as a low-end microcontroller, first family microcontroller. The second family of the microcontroller starts with the series PIC12. So this PIC12 series of controller is called as a mid-range microcontrollers. So the series numbers of this series of controller is PIC12FXXX. So these 3 digits specify a particular controller. Then we have the third series or the third family of the microcontroller as PIC16 series. So we'll be discussing in the next slide the PIC16 series, a specific example of PIC16F8777. That is the control that we'll be discussing. However, PIC16 series, they belong to the third family of the PIC microcontrollers. The fourth family of the microcontroller, that is PIC series PIC17 and PIC18 series, belong to the fourth family of the microcontroller. That is, there are 4 PIC families depending upon the series the controller belongs to. PIC10 series is the first family. PIC12 is the second family, or called as a mid-range family. PIC16 series belongs to the third family, and PIC17 and PIC18 belongs to the fourth family of the microcontroller. We'll be discussing the third family of the microcontroller, and the series is PIC16, and a specific example that we are discussing here is PIC16F877A microcontroller. This microcontroller is basically a 40-pin DIP package. So when we say 40-pin DIP, it simply means that there are 40 pins, and DIP means dual inline package. On both these sides, there are 20 pins each, amounting total of 40 pins. Unlike the 8051 series, see the voltages, how the voltages are connected here. So pin number 11 and pin number 32, they are connected to VDD, that is the plus 5 volt, or the positive supply, plus 5 volt. And the VSS, again you can see there are two, pin number 12 and 31, there are the two SS connected to the ground. Yet there is one more direct way of saying, or indirect way of saying. Another power signal is the ground, or VPP, that is connected on the pin number 1. Basically it's the master clear. When it is connected to the ground, so the controller is reset, and if it is connected to 1, it operates in the normal mode. So whenever this controller is required to be reset, then we can push this particular pin to ground. Maybe we can have a switch so that when the switch is pressed, it is grounded. The pin 1 is grounded, so that the 16F877 is reset mode. It goes into the reset mode. What other things that we observe from this diagram, a direct observation, is that most of the pins are multifunction pins. So that means a quite large number of works can be done. The complex task can be performed with this processor, the controller. As far as the ports are concerned, there are 5 ports on this 877A microcontroller. And what these 5 ports are: the port A, it is basically the 6 pins on the port A. Port B, there are 8 pins on the port B. Port C, 4 ports, 4 pins on the left side and 4 pins on the right side. Then you have the port D, again 4 pins on the left side and another 4 pins on the right side. Then port E, you have pin number 8, 9, 10 assigned to port E, that will be 3 pin ports. As far as the other signals are concerned, that you can see, there are there is basically one A to D converter, 8 channel A to D converter. So that means 8 independent analog inputs can be applied on these inputs. There is port A0, port A1, then port A2, port A3, port then A5, then port E0, E1 and E2. That is 8 different analog inputs can be provided on port A and port E. And the resolution of these A to D converter, there is a A to D converter, 8 channel A to D converter is 10 bits. Then you have the oscillatory circuits connected on pin number 13 and pin number 14. It can be connected to the external clock with the crystal, quartz crystal oscillator. Then we have discussed this. Then we'll see some of the other features in the next slide, which are specific to a F877 controller. But before that, let's look at the internal architecture of the 16F877 microcontroller. As you can see, let's first see what are the different blocks available in this controller, and then see the data path how the different inter blocks are connected. Looking from the left side, there is a flash memory, which is addressed through the program counter. The program counter, when initialized, it starts with the address 0000. It points to the program memory. Then we have a data memory. The data memory size is 64 bytes. So there is a facility that 64 bytes of data can be permanently stored into the EEPROM. Then you have the instruction registers. Instructions from the flash memory are read into the instruction register, which is then decoded, and necessary timing and control signals are generated for performing an operation onto the ALU. The ALU performs and the results are available at the different registers or the different ports. It can be transferred. There are some status registers. There are certain FSRs, special functions registers, and some general purpose registers that we will be seeing as we discuss about the programming model of the 16F877. Now let's look at some of the basic features which are specific to PIC16F877 microcontroller. This series of controller has one A to D converter, has a resolution of 10 bits. It has 4 timers, timer 0, timer 1, timer 2, timer 3. Timer 0 and timer 2 can operate are 8-bit timers. They can also be used as a counters, whereas timer 1 and timer 3 can be used as a 16-bit timers and counters. It has a data EEPROM and a flash memory for storing the program. It is a PWM model, and basically there is a CCP module. The CCP module is a capture, compare, and the PWM. So these are the three functions: capture, compare, and the PWM. So this is performed in the CCP module. Then you have a UART communication. Then serial communication can be performed over the serial lines. Then you have the SPI communication control. Then you have the I2C communication control for operating onto the slow speed devices. Then you have the interrupts. There are 8 different sources of interrupts. The watchdog timers that can wake up, used for waking up the controller when it goes to the sleep mode. Sleep mode is another very good facility wherein it reduces the power, it saves the power that is being consumed by the controller. Then it can come out of the sleep mode as different type of signals or interrupts occur on different externally initiated signals. Then the brownout detection, when a power goes to certain level, below certain level, then it gives a status or indication about the brownout detection. Then you have brownout reset if the power continuously remains below certain level up to 100 milliseconds, then the controller will be put into the reset mode. It has an in-circuit debugger, in-circuit programming, and all those features are available on this controller. So what exactly we have seen in this video, we started with some basic features of a PIC series of controller. PIC was known because it was basically peripheral controller, hence it got its name from there. Then we saw the pin diagram of a 16F877 controller. It was a 40-pin DIP, comes in 4 different packages. And then we saw about the Intel architecture of 16F877 and certain features of the 16F877 microcontroller. Well, that's all in this video. See you with more videos in the next coming session.